which is 0.273 if I'm doing 3 decimal places. Okay, over the page. On a particular day, random sample of 35 pieces of luggage. P hat be the variable, find the probability of P hat. Okay, so P hat is X on N, so 0.2 by 35 equals 7, X equals 7. So this is the same as the probability that X is bigger than 7, which is the probability that X is bigger than or equal to 8, where X is binomial. There are 35, and the probability of being heavy is 0.234. So I'm going to do binomial, CDF, 8 to 35, 35, 0.234. That's going to equal interactive distribution, discrete, CDF, lower is 8, upper is 35, N is 35, and that's 0.234. And that gives me 0.595275, which to 3 decimal places is 0.595. Part 2. Determine the probability that P lies within 1 standard deviation of its mean. Probability that the mean, okay, so the expected value of P hat is P, which is 0.234. We're at 0.234 minus 1 standard deviation, 0.234 plus 1 standard deviation. And the standard deviation will be 0.344 times 0.766 on 35, which is a lot of work in this question. 0.234 by 0.766 divided by 35 equals 0.7156, 0.7156, which is a probability that P hat goes from 0.234 minus that value, um, 0.1624, or plus that value. Um, 0.30556, which is a probability that X goes from. So this number times 35 is going to equal 5.6. And this number times 35, 10.69. Probability that X goes from 6 through to 10, which goes from 6 to 10 inclusive. So binomial 6 to 10, N's 35, 0.234. So it's going to equal 0.68388, and to 3 decimal places, 0.684. Looking at part E, random sample is heavy, 95% confidence interval. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to jump into statistics, calculate interval. 1 prop Z, my C level is 0.90, X is 10, N is 50. So that gives me 0.10695 to 0.29304, which to 3 decimal places is 0.107 to 0.293. Second sample of 50. So still 90%, but we want it to be wider, but we don't know N. Okay, so I've got P hat plus, so the width is the width of the interval, or I could take the middle to the end, which is M. So M on the original is 10 out of 50 times 40 out of 50 on N, and that's got a Z score for 90%. And the new one is I don't know out of 50 plus 50 times 50 minus I don't know out of 50 on N. That's 50. So I'm comparing the Z's the same as the Z's, so they're the same. So I've got the square root of 10 on 50 times 40 on 50 over 50 equals the square root of x on 50, 50 minus x on 50 over n, and I don't know n. So I punch up on my calculator. So I've got the square roots I can ignore. I've got 10 times 40 over 50 to the power of 3. I've got 50 times 50 also divided by 50. It's got to be smaller than, in a fraction, I've got x bracket 50 minus x, and that's going to be 50 squared times x, which is our n value, and I want to solve for x. Sorry, x is my unknown, that's also 50, because I know my sample is 50. So I want to go from 10 to 40, but not inclusive of 10. Therefore, the minimum is 11 and the maximum can be 39 for that to be the case.